really do think that if you were scared of natural disasters or catastrophes, then this movie will freak the hell out of you because I will give it to you. The plane crash in the movie was actually pretty impressive. I mean, there's a plane crash that happens and they tell you all the time, like you hear people say, oh, on a plane crash, just nobody feels a thing. They hit on impact and died instantly. And this movie says, bullshit. No, when you in a plane crash, not only you walk out of it, but you walk out of it burning to death. You're on fire.
Or a polar bear comes and hits you.
It is the kind of thing. It kind of reminds you that, like, were you to survive the plane crash, it's a good idea to get out of there, out of the way. Just you don't want to be right there where there's combustible engines and things that are going to blow up and set you on fire.
If you're going to be running on fire, do it away from the aircraft. Head towards the big giant puddles everywhere. It's safe. Get away from Nicolas Cage. He kills on touch, apparently.
Well, man, if I was him and I went up to help the first person, but shit was blowing up and flying at my hand, I'd be like, well, you motherfuckers going to die anyway. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, but it's funny. Poor Nicolas Cage. I mean, this is the part where I felt the most sympathetic for him because he's trying to be a good Samaritan. Like, he tries to set one person out, and then another person runs by, and then more on fire, and he runs by another person. This person's just engulfed, and he's trying to put every one of them out with a blanket. Yeah. And like the last person, he throws a blanket on the blanket, just like, woof. He just like, he fueled the fire.
I know.
And that dude was like, what the fuck?
Well, it was cold out there.
Yeah, I didn't have nothing else, man.
Who dipped this blanket in gasoline?
Yeah, that dude was like, piss on me or something, man. What the fuck you putting this blanket on me? And what was that you said? They're in a marsh.
Yeah, they're in a marsh. There's giant puddles everywhere.
There's
People are literally
yeah.
splashing as they're running through these knee-deep puddles on fire. And the last thing they could think of was, just fucking jump in the puddle, you idiot. I don't care. If I'm on fire, all my priorities are going to be headed towards looking for a large body of water at that point. And you're standing in one, dumbass.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think stop, drop, and roll, and maybe if you're on a dry ground, it doesn't seem like it would work. But if you're in 2 feet of water, 2 inches of water, that's immediately the place you're going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But not them.
No. Look, there's Nicolas Cage. Head towards him. He can save us.
I mean, you're already kind of freaked out, and then they have a subway crash in this movie. And that subway, it was like the subway was a monster. The subway, like, when people trying to run, the subway's like, nah, motherfucker, come here. And it just took a whole row of people out.
Well, it's funny how, like, a runaway subway where it saw some people trying to run, so it turned sideways to make sure it got everybody.
No,
like one of those sweepers in a bowling alley.
It was possessed by the wind in the day after tomorrow, you know? This intelligent runaway subway train.
Yeah.
No, fuck that motherfucker. I'm smashing your ass.
Yeah. But it was kind of like Alex Proyas just stopped and said, you know what? I love this thing with people on fire so much. Let's set some animals on fire. Because they got one scene where somebody points out the window and you see a bunch of moose and rabbits. I mean, they're pretty much running on their hind legs. Oh, God, help me!
Yeah, it was like a drag version of Rocky and Bullwinkle. They were all flaming.
Come on, man. Drag. Damn, you had to go all the way to San Francisco to get that joke.
I did.
And the shit was rotten when you brought it back.
Well, but you know, the funny thing is, like, this movie is supposed to be scary. I mean, like, it's mostly boring. The scariest thing about this movie to me was the score, because they had it cranked up loud. Those scary violins and drums.
That wasn't the movie's fault. We walked into a theater. I think there's new management or something, because of the first 45 minutes of this movie, the whole movie was like this. It was like, hey, Nicolas Cage, how you doing? Oh, fuck off. And then all of a sudden it would be like, hey, Nicolas, hey, Nicolas Cage! And then in the last third, all of a sudden it was like, dun, 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 dun. And nobody ever bothered to check to see if we were having our ears are bleeding.
Well, they probably got tired of everybody complaining about the sound being so low. So they're like, all right, you want it up high? I'll show you high.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the secret behind the movie is there's a symphony hiding in Nicolas Cage's closet. He opens the door.
But, you know, there's these creepy guys in there, and at one point they turn, and they're like Black Bolt from the Inhumans, because the guy's like, say something. And when he does, it's just like pure sound that comes out.
You mean the whole team, the official union of Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer body doubles?
Well, you know how Alex Proyas loves to have guys in long trench coats.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, this is directed by Alex Proyas. This is the guy, and I like a lot of his movies. He directed a couple of movies that I like a lot. Dark City, I liked a lot.
Classic.
The Crow,
yeah,
the original, and
even iRobot.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
I like iRobot.
So I'm not going to even I'm not going to blame him for this movie.
You know, I don't blame him. I feel like he did the best he could with shitty material.
I mean,
because he gave it a good look.
This movie needed a better script writer and an editor more than they needed a better director. So.
Yeah, but yeah, the man does love his trench coats.
Well,
I mean,
no,
I think he's getting a kickback from Burlington Coat Factory.
No, that didn't even make any sense. There's a mystery throughout the movie. We get these people. Now, this is where it gets kind of weird because we're thinking at first, like, all right, this is some sort of biblical sign of something happening. But then there's these dudes hanging around looking like the trench coat mafia, like the Eurotrash Germans hanging around in the background just staring. And it's like, well, what are these sons of bitches doing? And you made a good point. You said they look like child molesters.
Yeah, because they're always hanging around the kids. And every time Nicolas Cage was away, like him, and Rose Byrne is the other lead, the woman, and whenever they weren't near their kids, these crazy-looking guys were over there by the kids, talking to them, trying to lure them away.
Rose Byrne, is she related to Jennifer Connelly? Because, I mean, this is one of these actresses you're just like, do you know why you have a career? I'll tell you why you have a career, because you look like Jennifer Connelly.
Well, no, she's on Damages. I mean, she's on a hit show.
I'm just saying.
And she was in Sunshine.
It's
not her first time around the block.
No, she's hot. I was looking at her the whole time.
Oh, yeah, she's
that girl
gorgeous.
and whoever the girl
I didn't argue she wasn't hot.
No, that girl and whoever played Nicolas Cage's sister in the movie was smoking, man. But I tell you, what was I about to tell you?
I don't know.
Got me. I'm thinking about these chicks up here. And I'm like,
you just got ass on the mind.
Exactly. You see how I blank out when I start talking about women.
All of a sudden, like, wait, which show am I recording?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I was going to say. Those guys all around the kids. And there's even a scene where one of those dudes pops up in that kid's bedroom.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage is running. He doesn't call the police. Like, he's got a case, officer. There was a guy in a trench coat with some blonde cropped hair hanging out in my child's bedroom. He doesn't do that. All he does is run outside with a bat like, you want some of this? It's like, man, you are the dumbest astrophysicist, scientist, whatever the fuck you are. I don't get it. Maybe
because he's got to be the weirdest child molester of all time. He's like, he doesn't actually want to touch him. He just wants to show him more animals on fire.
I mean, the movie is I want to give it, for those scenes right there that we're talking about, like
Sure.
Oh, and there's a scene where we don't want to say, but they do something to the city that I thought was pretty impressive.
They make 9/11 look like chump change.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, yeah.
We'll leave it at that. But because as you say, those set pieces and those big special effects scenes, I thought, maybe I'll give this a rental, but at the end of the movie, they pulled something that I was like, nah, that's kind of unforgivable. So I'm going to give this. Is it possible to give a movie a high bullshit?
Have we come to this now?
Yeah, it's some old baby shit. So it's kind of cute in its own way, but you don't want to actually touch that shit.
Yeah, no, I'm giving it some more bullshit.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And by the same mathematical formula, I was like, because of those pieces, maybe a rental just for that, even though I'm falling asleep in this. But by the end, I'm like, wow, you guys are skirting a fuck you at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be kind and give it some old bullshit.
Yeah, I was I didn't know what to say here because this movie preys on some stuff I personally really find offensive. So I was like, it was like 3/4 of the way through the movie. I was like, there's no escaping some old bullshit at this point. But it's possible that if you aren't some of these subjects as touchy as I do, that you might not be quite as offended. So you might give it a high some old bullshit. I don't know. Maybe if you were high.
Yeah, no,
It's just stupid.
Yeah, no, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's a Nicolas Cage movie with things blowing up. Of course it sucks. He hasn't made a good one since The Rock.
Yeah. No.
That should be an important key for you. Look at the credits. Oh, Nicolas Cage is in it. Let's go to the other movie.
No, if they do a reboot of this movie, just stuff a bunch of rabbits in a plane, have that shit crash and have a bunch of rabbits running on fire.
Sure.
That's what could have made this movie a whole lot better. Other than that, yeah, no, it's some pure bullshit.
Are we gonna die?
I will never let that happen, Caleb. Do you hear me? Never.